Hey there, athletes. Coach John Ferry here from Team Whelpers. Excited as always to welcome you to our Week 5 athlete briefing for our Summer Run Challenge. So we're going to start with a very brief Week 4 review. Brief because we had that nice light unload this week. So hopefully everyone is feeling rested, ready for the tough weeks ahead, ready to come back in here strong. So I hope you took that unload very seriously. Just a reminder, even though it was light workouts last week, want to make sure you're getting in, checking the box, chasing that 100% completion percentage. Don't let it slip, even though it was a lighter week. Also, good luck to all our members participating in the Grandma's Marathon and Half Marathon tomorrow. Have an amazing time. Your teammates will certainly be cheering you on from afar. So good luck to those racers. Now, to our Week 5 workout here. So we're starting the week, run number 1, our tempo run, if you will. Nice big chunks of time spent at both kind of marathon and half marathon pace in and around there. Hopefully this workout actually feels pretty darn cruisy. So conditions are getting pretty hot, no secret. It's kind of across the country at this point. Absolutely feel free to focus on the effort of those paces as opposed to the actual exact pace range right there. That being said, these intervals were kind of built and created understanding that we are in hot weather conditions. So they're not for marathon pace and half marathon pace, particularly long intervals. So it's something you should be able to excel at even in warm conditions here. You definitely have got this for sure. So no problem. That being said, really make sure to take your warm-ups, recoveries, cool downs nice and light. It's going to set you up for success in those hot weather environments, allow you to kind of recompose yourself over the course of the workout. Run number 2, our interval run. So this week we're going from threshold pace all the way to anaerobic capacity, a little bit of VO2 max there in between. So starting with a kind of relatively small chunk at threshold, just a few minutes there at threshold, followed by a pretty good ample recovery. And I do kind of to the previous point, really maximizing this recovery to set yourself up to be ready to go and attack that VO2 max interval hard. So moving on to the VO2 max intervals, a very runnable, tough, kind of hard, but not very far from a sprint, very far from a really hard track effort. This is a runnable endurance pace, that kind of VO2 max pace. Finishing out with some anaerobic capacity repeats, and these are starting to get up, not to a sprint, but to a pretty strong run. Only 1 minute intervals there at the end. Really nice way to finish out the workout. Why I like finishing out workouts sometimes with these harder intervals there is this. There's really no mystery that as you start to fatigue over the course of a workout, you're going to get, your form starts to diminish a little bit. So you don't have the turnover you used to, you don't have the pop coming off of your foot. So including some of these hard intervals there at the end of the run can really promote a healthy turnover and some power generation late in your run there. So at lighter paces, you can really get heavy-legged. I don't know, I assume most people have probably felt, deep in a long run, deep in a tough workout, you're just not getting your feet up as high, you're not turning over as quickly, and you can really be okay with that at a lighter pace. However, the demands of these kind of short, hard intervals really force you to kind of kick back into gear and finish with good, strong form there. So that's why we place these here at the end. So really great practice and just learning how to finish out an interval, a workout, and or a race, all with a nice, strong running posture and a good kick. Both workouts, as previously mentioned in previous weeks, really reward good, accurate pacing early in the workout. So you want to make sure you're not overshooting those paces early, especially in the warm weather conditions. It's going to make that ending a lot more complicated than it needs to be. As I mentioned, both interval durations and both workouts are really being thoughtful about the hot weather conditions. So even though it's getting warm outside, this is something you should be able to do pretty well here in the start of summer. As always, we're finishing out the week with our endurance work. Easy pace start to finish. Absolutely feel free to reduce the pace to what actually feels easy. So more than ever this time of year, easy pace really means easy effort. So if you need to come back a minute, 2 minutes off of that easy pace in order to get easy effort, that is 1000% okay. It's ultimately going to make a better, more productive session. We're going to jump into just a couple quick questions that came up over the week. So question one was, during long runs, my fingers and hands sometimes get numb. Is that normal? Is it something I'm doing with bent elbows? So I would say it's not normal, but it's not entirely unusual either. So it is likely, without seeing, hard to gauge, so highly likely that there's some sort of situation of tension in your upper body, which is, limiting blood flow to your hands. So could be the elbows, maybe being pinched up a little too tight. It could be that your hands are clenched a little too much into fist, where you're actually like preventing, good blood flow in your hands there. Either way, you're really going to need to focus on relieving the tension in your upper body. So doing some form checks over your run from time to time. I'm going to give you kind of two things to think of, really. One is try to make sure that your hands are a little bit closer to your hips than your chest. If these things are coming up like this, you certainly are kind of pinched at the elbow, could become problematic. So hands by the hips, a little bit more comfortable motion right there. And you also want to make sure your hands aren't carrying tension. So once again, fists, no good. Want to think about kind of like thumb to fingertip, almost like you're carrying a potato chip in between that thumb and fingertip. It's a very light handhold there. It's going to save a tiny little bit of energy, hopefully start to feel a little bit better. So once again, hands lower, light on the tension, should hopefully help a bit with that. Also, there's every so often nothing wrong at all with kind of doing a full like arm roll and release. So for me, I kind of carry my shoulders a little bit high over the course, especially of a long run. Try to take some moments, kind of reset, roll out my arm, maybe do a full extension of the arm with a couple like windmill circles to try to just get some motion back in there. So nothing at all wrong with that. Definitely want to make sure your upper body is staying relaxed, especially for those longer sessions. Then our final question here was thoughts on cooling arm sleeves for running in warm and hot weather temperatures. And I must admit, I'm not 100% certain here. I've known people who use them in construction, gardening, etc., but never in running. So just going through looking at I did a little bit of research on some of the specs of these things. Don't think I would honestly recommend it. Kind of the benefit of these things is putting on a kind of a wet, cool layer over your arms. Some of it stays like compressed there to your skin. However, the way you really cool down in running is having the airflow that you're creating by running that comes over the skin to help the evaporation of that sweat that's coming to the surface. So I would certainly be at least pretty thoughtful if this is something you want to try, that in essence you're adding another layer on top of something that's going to kind of trap heat and trap sweat there. So while something might be kind of nice early for a few minutes, I can certainly see a world in which it gets uncomfortable in a hurry. Wasn't able to find a lot of supportive research on that. But I think, unfortunately, I would go the lighter option, save the extra layer onto your skin there. It's just going to be hot for a few months, okay? Everyone hated the cold for a while. Now it's our turn to hate the heat. It's just kind of our cycles of life here. Well, otherwise, one final good luck and best wishes to our grandmas marathon and half marathoners. Have a blast tomorrow. Otherwise, that is all here for week 5. Have an incredible week, and I'll see you back here soon.